Yeah, it's basically got us 50-50.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk about this match.
Oh, come on, Tyreek.
Oh yeah, so and
got to get those 2,000. Come on.
yeah, that's right. But he doesn't have to do it this week.
Oh, yes, he does.
No, he can he can resume next week when I need him.
Yeah. Hey.
Good morning.
I think it adds some authenticity if sometimes if we're just How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Football Theories. I had to make sure I didn't say Final Fantasy Football Theories, everybody. Week 15. Joining me, Ken. He's guaranteed to watch every single game. He's been watching every game for the last 3 years, and he's just got this memory recall that's insane. Also with me, Brian, who's been playing fantasy football for 30 years and is really good at it. But we're still a bunch of potato couches and longtime fans of the sport. Join us today. We will be talking about your stardom, sit-ems, who we think is going to win. We got all that coming up.
Who we know is going to win. We know. Brian is so good at fantasy football that he gets his opponent to not set his lineup during the playoffs. That's how good Brian is.
Oh, yeah. Please let me know when Juan gets in, if Juan's in there out there today, because I want to talk to Juan.
Jesus. I did already, but I'll let you talk to him too. He deserves it. It's the playoffs, dude. How you gonna make the playoffs for the first time in 4 years and then not set your lineup?
He maybe just thought it.
No, he was hoping Jacobs was gonna play, and I guess he was busy. So we'll see. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the playoffs. We're here. Woo. And you know what? Since this is Sunday morning for a lot of people, a lot of anybody listening, there's a good chance you're already just like, it was the playoffs. I'm done already. I have a really good one in my Dynasty league, half PPR. On one side, guy has the Raiders defense. And so we're watching on Thursday, and his opponent is just, oh my God, the Chargers are terrible. This is, yada yada yada. It's going back, and like the other guy is chanting defense and talking about how big of a fan he is of the Chargers, and and it was funny because like somewhere in there he goes, you know what, that's your mistake right there. Like now I feel better because you saying you're a Chargers fan lets me know that this isn't going to work out for you.
He's being biased,
and he's not actually, the other guy's actually not a Chargers fan, but just of what was going on Thursday night, obviously. And then so he has the Raiders defense. Other guy that was complaining on Thursday night has Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. so
that's not bad.
So he went from being projected to lose by 35 after Thursday night's game to being projected to win by 40 after Saturday night. So
fantasy football.
Yeah, fantasy football. Yeah, there's some wild swings. Like myself, for anybody who's curious, like I have a bye in that league, and then I'm playing whoever it is that comes out of that match. So I'm hoping they expend all their fantasy luck against each other, and I get to roll over them with Tyreek Hill next week. But in our league of record, I was super excited. I've got matchups. I feel like I haven't been tinkering with my roster or anything because this has just been set up for weeks. We're ready. And then my opponent has the Raiders defense and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson and Deontay Johnson. And so I'm in the hole.
Wow.
I'm in the hole pretty good to start the day. Like
How much are you projected to lose by?
20.
That's not too bad.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's still well within margin.
Right. And he's still like I had talked to him this week, and I had told him what I think is going to happen, and because he had said something, he had been talking to me because he's like I think he's just really just probably disappointed in himself for trading me CeeDee Lamb and Kyren Williams, because if he hadn't made that trade, his team's just like he's the team that's just impossible to beat, and So he's like, yeah, and I think you're gonna go all the way, and blah, this, that, and the other. I was like, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a really good match. I think we're both gonna score a lot of points, and I think I'm gonna get you like 185 to 170, something like that. And he's still not projected to score 170 points. So I still I don't feel bad yet.
All right.
If I was looking at it and it was like he's now projected to score like 210 or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm probably in trouble. I don't think my team's going to go to 210 today,
Right.
but I do expect my team to score a lot of points. Like I've got Bijan, Kyron, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Kyler Murray, David Njoku, and then the Miami defense.
And do you have a lot of confidence in Murray?
I do.
I was talking to some people at work today, or not today, but yesterday, and they're having some real tough start-sit decisions with Murray.
I actually really like what the Cardinals did with him, because if you look at what actually happened, they brought him back and he played exactly for a month, and then they got a bye. So it was like he got to, and it takes a while for these guys to get into football shape, and they can't do it until they start playing games. So he was able to start like getting himself into football shape and then get a break. So I actually expect a refreshed Kyler today, and the 49ers are missing defensive line pieces. They're going to be without Eric Armstead today, and they're going to be without Javon Hargrave today. And they've been people aren't talking about this. Like I'm a little down on their chances to actually win, because they're missing Hufanga. They're hurt. It's happening a little more silently because it's not happening to their fantasy stars, but their defense has been taking lumps for a while now. And Fred Warner makes up for a lot of that.
So who's Kyler going to throw to, though?
Trey McBride. And they should have Michael Wilson back today. And if you remember, Michael Wilson's breakout performance came against the 49ers in San Francisco when he went, I think it was 6 targets, 6 catches, 70-some yards, and a touchdown. He's a bigger target. I've been waiting for him to come back. So that's my Homer minute. Like I didn't talk about the Cowboys because do we need to? They just keep winning.
Yeah, and since I got my heart ripped out again by the Steelers, I've just accepted our fate for the year. I thought I had accepted it last week, but I still had that sliver of hope. You know what I mean? You see us in the playoff picture all week. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, we're still there. All we got to do is win. Oh, yeah, no, we can't do that.
We're in the hunt.
Yeah. In the hunt for a quarterback. Anyway.
I'm sure Zach Wilson's available.
I'm sure he is.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Hey, we've watched a lot of bad quarterback play this year, and we have not there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks that have played as well as Zach Wilson did last week, and as well as say he did in that primetime game against Mahomes. So if I'm a team that's that needs a quarterback, he's got to be at the top of the list. He's 24 years old, and he's put up with New York. And it's seemingly coming out of the other side of it.
I missed that. Who are we talking about?
Zach Wilson. When you look at his response last week, in a situation where he already knows, the team is tried to go with somebody else. They can't wait to get Aaron Rodgers back. He's probably not coming back next year. And what did he do? He didn't he didn't fold.
Yeah. No, he went out there and he did something.
He says,
for
"Fuck
sure."
you. He went out there and put up the middle finger to the
let's
Jets
see if it was a turning point for him.
I hope it was, and I do think it was.
And honestly, I'm rooting for him too. I hope it was too.
He threw some dimes in that game. I was really impressed.
He did have some real good throws in that game. But anyway, back to the Steelers. So, never mind, not the Steelers.
Hold on. Let's look. Can we start referring to them as the pre-Zach Wilson Steelers?
Oh God, no, we cannot.
Yeah, you're pretty confident about that.
Hey, they need a quarterback, and he's going to be the best quarterback available.
I would like to talk about my fantasy teams just for a moment, just because it was so noteworthy. Going into last week when we last, when we were last on the podcast, I had 3 teams that are going to the playoffs. And all 3 of them were in line to get the number 1 seed. All 3 of them. I was going to get the bye, and I got the bye in none of them. I got my quarterback hurt in 2 of them. I've got Tyreek Hill hurt in 2 of them. Madison out in 2 of them. The list goes on. So
being heavily invested in
Keenan Allen,
core groups of players.
Yeah.
Like the highs are
highs
sweet.
are highs and the lows are low. And I'm definitely low this week. Had horrible timing going into the playoffs. So I feel like I've got the axe over my head. But is Juan in here?
Not yet.
Juan
We just
check
got
in?
Wada busy.
Okay.
Not just. We got the amazing Wada busy. That's it right now.
Good to see you, Wada.
And so I didn't know that. I didn't know that you missed out on all 3 of your buys.
Yes.
So I forgot to do this real quick in my Homer Minute because I was the highs and lows of fantasy football, right? I texted these guys on Sunday night when I was feeling myself. I was up. My team is up probably like 60 some odd points. No, we were up. I'm sorry. For parts of Sunday, we were. At the end of Sunday night, I was up by 25 points. I had Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane, and he still had DeAndre Hopkins and Raheem Mostert.
Okay. So you're feeling good.
So I'm feeling real good until the 4th quarter of Monday night. And I'm going through all of it. I'm like, I can't believe this is about to happen. Like, I'm going to go from getting the bye to having to play against the Detroit team was what was going to... No, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to play against them. I was going to have to play against the guy that ended up picking the Raiders defense. It would have been me and him.
Gotcha.
Without Tyreek Hill. And then Devon Achane catches a ball for -2 yards. And I win by 0.6 points. Because fantasy football is amazing.
High drama.
I
love
won
it.
my match by 0.6 points, making me 9-5. Somehow that team with all the Detroit players lost his match because they were horrible last week against the Bears, and I outscored him. So we ended up both 9-5. And I outscored him still by enough to overtake him,
Take him and get the
for
bye.
the points for the points lead. So I ended the night with my points lead back and got the bye. So finished the season with the bye, having scored the most points. Didn't have the best record, but that's fantasy football.
Nice.
I did score the most points.
Oh, hey, we got a question.
Got a few questions lining up from Dylan Fink. I think he's a first-time YouTube dropper.
What's up, Dylan?
We got a few questions, different leagues, all full PPR. Pick 2, Pollard at Buffalo, Jay Reed at Tampa Bay, Jay Cook versus Dallas. Pick 1.
I pick
Oh,
one.
okay.
Pick 1 or 2.
Hold on. Here's pick 2. Pollard at Buffalo, Jay Reed at Tampa Bay, Jay Cook versus Dallas.
With Watson out, I think I would play Pollard and Jaden Reed.
Yes.
Like I don't think that James Cook is going to have a great game today. I think if the Bills are going to score touchdowns, it's going to come from Josh Allen / Kincaid / Diggs. And maybe Davis. This is a game where you want to play Davis because you expect the Cowboys to score. But the Cowboys are a team that's built to play against Saquon Barkley. So a player like James Cook doesn't really scare them, and as long as they put together an intelligent game plan and realize that the Bills have been using him and put an effort towards shutting him down, which I think they will, I don't think he's going to have a great game today. He's going to have somewhere in the 10-ish range. Whereas, people have been ripping up the Buccaneers. Desmond Ridder threw for 350 yards against the Buccaneers last week.
Yeah, but he's a stud.
Yeah. And while playing about the worst quarterback I've ever seen. I had to go look at it again because I knew that you and I had a conversation about Desmond Ridder because I was super happy with myself having started a guy that scored like half a point more than him. But I knew there was a lot of points. And I was like, after watching the game, I was like, wait a minute, this guy scored a bunch of fantasy points? But yeah, it was about the worst game at quarterback I've ever seen. But all his receivers had huge days. Drake London was awesome. Pitts was awesome. So yeah, I'd be excited to play Jaden Reed today.
What about you?
I agree with all that. I'm not a big James Cook fan, honestly. And I like the matchups.
I hadn't
as
been
well.
until the offensive coordinator change. because since the coordinator changed, they've been using him a lot more as the featured back instead of just switching backs all the time.
Yeah, but wasn't there one game where they featured him and he looked bad? Like I want to say it was 2 weeks ago that he just looked really bad. Kind of solidified.
Not that I
my
recall.
opinion of
I
him.
feel like James Cook has been silently, just handling his business for people. So to me, that's a difficult decision.
That could be it.
Next one. Pick one. Waddle versus New York Jets. Reed versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would rather
think I go
play
Reed there.
Jaden Reed. I think because he is. So he's still going to play.
The matchup is so good.
I think the Dolphins are probably going to focus on their running backs today, and that's just my assumption. And I know that Jaden Reed's going to get work. Jaden Reed gets work in the running game and in the passing game. He's going to touch the ball 10+ times.
Tyreek Hill is gonna still do his. If he can do his normal thing, he's still gonna look good against these Jets. Doesn't matter.
When he's on the field, he'll still be the number one target.
Right. But Waddle, if Tyreek is out and Waddle's the number one and Sauce is on him and he's got all the attention, I don't see a big game for Waddle.
I agree.
I think that could be really bad.
Okay, then another pick here. Titans versus Houston, Saints versus Giants, or Ravens versus Jags.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the defense?
Defenses here.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Can you
one
go
more
over this
time
again?
then.
I heard Titans in there, and to be honest with you, like I've been riding the Dolphins, and the Titans are the one team that I'm like, man, I'm gonna if they just have a day against. It's not even Davis Mills who's going to start. Is it Hoyer? Is that who's there? Who's there? It's not Hoyer. I don't know who's there, but
It's not Davis Mills. That's
no
news to me.
Davis Mills is not going to start. It's their third string quarterback that's going to start, and I forgot who it was already.
Why?
And actually, that's the one thing that prevented like has eased my mind, because I feel like if it was Davis Mills, I'd really be wanting to play Tennessee. What are the other options?
Okay, so Titans, Saints, or Ravens.
The Saints. I play the Saints.
Yeah, I've got the Saints as a playoff matchup that I've been targeting for a little bit, and
too.
I'm excited to play them today.
Okay, and then one more question, and we'll catch up our question queue. Pick one: Connor, Ford, Singletary,
Singletary. Connor.
or CEH versus New England.
I would play Connor. It's a bad matchup, but James Conner still just produces against the 49ers. He actually since he's been in Arizona, I'm not sure he's had a bad game against the 49ers. And that includes the game where they lost 40-10 on Monday night in Mexico City. James Conner he just gets the ball enough. They're not giving the ball to any other running back. And that's a guy he's going to throw to. Today is Kyler. He's going to throw to James Conner. So for me, he's top 20. So
Who's Cleveland playing today?
Chicago.
I
like Ford, but he's been a little banged up, and Joe hasn't been dumping the ball off to him, so he's been getting the ball when it's a designed play to the running back, but he hasn't been getting a whole lot of those just dump offs.
Yeah,
Joe's been letting the
Chicago
ball
has
rip.
been quite a bit better on the defensive side as well.
They have been improved.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with Connor on that one.
Okay, there, Dylan. Hope that helps, and if you could help us out and let us know how you found us today, that'd be great. All right, so I guess I'm on to my Homer Minute, and for the sake of time, I will just kind of keep it short. But I think that Ravens-Rams game, I think if Sean McVay and his office of whoever's calling the plays upstairs, if they can just figure out how to manage that clock, they'll be fine. They should have won that game. They had plenty of opportunity, you know what I mean? And they just could not get plays in fast enough. They just... it was just silly. It was just so frustrating. I was talking around the water cooler, and the Ram fans are just so frustrated with all that. It just seems like he blows a timeout all the time.
He doesn't care.
If not two.
He doesn't. The first one he does not care about. It's really crazy how yes, I agree. In the Sean McVay era, the Rams just blow a timeout in the first 3 minutes of the game. Doesn't care. It's it's almost like he's got this mentality I just need X amount of timeouts in this time period or something like that, and it just doesn't work out that way for him. And for me, and this is just probably back in the day Madden game management, but it's if you watch if you watch games, I mean, if you were good at doing stuff like that in Madden and you paid attention to the clock and stuff like that, the real games in real life work out exactly the same way. Like trying to get 2-for-1s. Like when your opponent has the ball like deep in their territory and you make a stop and you get the ball back, and managing the amount of time that, let's see, how much time do I need to leave on the clock versus how much time or how many timeouts, how many times do I want to be able to stop the clock, things like that. Mm-hmm. Planning all that stuff out. If you want to be good at the game, you should learn all that stuff. It's not just about the joystick. Right. And it is funny how bad some of these coaches are, and some of them just like seriously, not to try and get too deep into this, but they just have philosophies. And McVay seems to have a philosophy where he just does not care about the first time out. So, yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it looks like things are starting to plan out where they're just going to try to outscore everybody. And the defense.
You said that at the beginning of the year.
So that they're finally getting their over 30 games now, and that was one of them. Bezzy wants to know if it's time for him to drop his Dolphins defense.
No, not this week. This is the last week you can ride him. And I mean, honestly, it's funny that I'm saying that, but I would not be surprised if Zach Wilson roasts them today. Huh. I just wouldn't. I really wouldn't be that shocked.
I just love that you're such a Zach Wilson fanboy.
I am. I really am.
So should we move on to that pie bet?
Real quick on, there was something I wanted to say on your. Well, yeah, I guess we can move on to the pie bet. Right. There's something I wanted to say because for your Rams, but.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about the Rams later, so that's a big game today.
It'll come back to you.
And just before we get started, I do have some breaking news. This is going to be important to you guys in your fantasy playoffs here. Big decision now. Eagles are downgrading Jalen Hurts to questionable for Monday night's game after his sickness worsened overnight.
Whoa.
So, huge news.
Everybody's getting sick.
I'm not counting on any Eagles players this week. That feels good.
So,
right?
If you guys were tuning in,
a lot of people are.
If you guys were tuning in last week, there was a big argument about DK Metcalf, and I'm not going to go over all of it, but suffice it to say, Brian decided to go with Metcalf, and Ken had his. I think an option of 3 receivers to pick from.
Four. And two of them did beat Metcalf,
but not the one he picked.
Didn't you offer me Rashee Rice?
I think so.
I can't believe I didn't take Rashee Rice. I like afterwards. I was how did I not just take Rashee Rice? And real quick, DK made one of the best catches of the year to score that touchdown. And then Devonta Smith fumbled later in the day, and I lost by 1.5.
So
again,
you know what time it is.
All right. Woohoo! I can handle it though. All right, I'll take it. It's cool.
All right, enjoy, sir. There we go. He got the whole pie.
Yeah, it came out the whole plate on.
Oh man,
pumpkin pie.
Get the smear.
We're actually figuring out which pies smear the best throughout this segment.
Honestly, like the smear didn't
It's like a cookie now.
But this one, it looks what it left on my face is hilarious.
Yeah, that is a good look.
Hear ye. God damn it, dude. I was sure I wasn't getting a pie this week. And then DK makes that play, and I'm like, he fucking made that catch. I was like walking by the screen as it happened, and I just pointed at the TV. And I was like, I'm gonna get a pie for that.
That was at the party, right? Yeah, that was at the birthday party. Yeah. I remember that moment, and I smiled.
Pie's good though. It smells good. Tastes good.
Alrighty.
So it ain't all bad.
Not a big enough mess for the dogs, it seems like.
No, poor puppy.
Oh, dogs are disappointed.
Dogs are disappointed today.
Disappointing the dogs.
All right, moving on. Let's do it. Moving on to the picks.
I gotta say one other thing real quick to based on disappointed dog reminded me real quick. Reacher. Did you watch Reacher when
Yes.
Are you watching season 2?
Yes. So much fun.
Oh man, I just finished my with school for the semester, and I was like, I had finished everything for fantasy football. I didn't have anything important to do, and I was like, I just want to sit down and watch something. And I thought I was just going to sit down and watch reruns of something, and then I saw that Reacher actually had episodes available. I was like, oh, sweet, and I couldn't stop watching. I watched all 3 episodes that were available already.
Okay, so there's 3,
and it's just like. Yes,
I'm on the 3rd episode. Yeah,
it's so good.
I almost started.
And you guys, so just real quick, you guys know it's based on a series of novels.
Yeah. I've read quite a few of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I seen it and I was like, okay, it's season 2. Oh, it just came out. Then they're week by week release. I was like, I could wait a little bit.
Yeah, that bothered me a little bit, but there was 3 of them, so I had to watch.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like 2.5 in. And enjoying it, you know what I mean? There's definite plot holes and this and that, but it's not a show that you have to think about. It's you just shut your brain off, enjoy, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, don't think about that stuff.
Yeah, it's just so much fun.
It's too hard for them to get all the proper details from the story into the show in order you to not in order to actually appreciate all of it because they're limited.
Yeah, and Bezzy's telling us to watch Godzilla -1. It's on my radar. I've heard so many good
new
things.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids watched it. I'm supposed to watch it too. I heard it was really good.
It's on my radar. It's on my radar. Let me have my mug over there.
Same.
Oh. There we go. Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, let's get properly dressed for the show.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just so we're letting them know. All right. The redeemed.
All right, so first up, Kansas City Chiefs versus New England Patriots. Kansas City -8.5. Over-unders 39.5. -455 is the money line for the Chiefs. +350 on the Patriots. And I think the Chiefs have not really been outscoring teams very much.
They have not. They're often. It's interesting. I've heard people say. This is the first time, I think it was Stephen A. actually that said this is the first time that he's seen Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid embarrass themselves based on their comments after the call. And on that real quick, they were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong to react the way that they did. The NFL fined Andy Reid $100,000 for his comment.
$100,000?
Yeah, because the NFL, you're not supposed to speak that way about officiating.
Wow.
And even in that, even being vague about it like that, and especially when you're wrong, because the thing is Mahomes was like, you can't make that effing call, at this point of the game, blah blah blah, and they usually they let us know and this and that and the other, and you look at the replay, Tony's not looking at the ref, he never checks in with the ref, and he's blocking the view of the football. You literally can't see the football, and the thing is it's like, if they didn't know that could be called, that is actually on Andy Reid. That's either bad coaching in that instance, or the message didn't get through. So, because the NFL has been calling that penalty, and
over
actually,
the last few weeks,
it literally happened earlier in the day. In a very similar scenario. In the Panthers-Saints game, the Panthers got called for it when they were on the New Orleans side of the ball, driving with under 2 minutes to play in the first half. So it was an important part of the game, and the refs called it. So they're looking for it in those scenarios. So if you don't know that, then you missed it, and that's your fault. And that is all to say. I don't necessarily agree with all the things that the NFL does to try and, I don't know, clean up the game, I guess, because I feel like they have points of emphasis, which is what this is. It's a point of emphasis for the NFL this year. That they go through them, and then prior points of emphasis become problems again. So it's like they're not able to actually just tightly police all of the loose ends in the game. So it'd be better if they just figured out how to make the flow of the game better, especially when you consider your overall goal is money, dude. They're trying to make money, so if you really want to make money, make the game more viewable to people. Stop throwing the flags. Figure out how to stop throwing the flags, how to stop stopping the game all the time, how to stop making cool plays totally irrelevant.
Well, and I think that got lost in all this because that would have been
one of the coolest
plays, and the coolest endings of a game of all time.
Seriously,
you know what I mean? That was so amazing.
Yeah, it was almost one of those defining moments of the Mahomes era. You know?
And my heart broke when that flag got called, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
But it was if you watch
so I had the same reaction Mahomes had at first, and then you see the evidence, and you're like.
He was offside.
It was pretty blatant.
Then still, like even if you see that, and still, there is a understandable reaction of how could they call it during this time if you don't know that the NFL has been focusing on that particular penalty and trying to cut down on players apparently lining up offsides. I didn't know that players had been doing that, and
they've been talking about it for about 6 weeks. Yeah.
Well, no. What I mean is, yes, they've been talking about it this season, but I didn't realize going into the season that players had been lining up offsides. So I mean, good on the NFL for catching that and trying to get players to.
It happened in season. It was a few weeks in, but there was a certain play, and it got done. Oh, and this player does it all the time, and then all of a sudden the next week they got called twice. And then it's like, well, how come you're only focusing on me? And now it's a point of emphasis all over. So that happened in the season.
If you watch that play go down too, the flag gets thrown immediately. It's not like the ref knows.
Right.
It's like the ref knows it's going to be an amazing play.
You see the indicator of flag while the ball's in the air going to Kelsey.
Well, you could if you're watching the replay, you can see before the interview comes out, you can see the ref throwing the flag as soon as the ball's hiked. Yeah.
And I imagine like if Tony had just looked to the referee, he would have told him to get back.
Do we have a bleep button? Like, can you bleep me for a second?
I don't have one actually, and I should.
Tyreek Hill not going to play?
You can bleep yourself.
He's out. He's out.
Tyreek Hill is out.
Okay, so he's going to go from 16 to out of my rankings.
All right, I need to make some moves real quick.
We're gonna give Brian a minute.
Give me a minute. You guys go ahead and move on. And
wait, we're all picking Chiefs, right?
So I remember what I wanted to say about the. I think
when we're done, I'm
going to
tell you who my
last things I wanted to say. For anybody who doesn't know, the RB1 last week was Ezekiel Elliott.
I knew that.
Turns out, if you give him the ball. He's still good.
He's still good, I know. I think I picked him up in my fantasy this week.
Did you hear that, Cowboys? If you would just have given him the ball, he still would have been good. Ezekiel Elliott is he's just not a running back you can give the ball 12 times a game to and expect him to have like a real impact on the game.
Oh, we just got a start-sit question in. My good friend would like to know, if Tyreek is out, who would you start in his place if your only choices were Jonathan Mingo and Elijah Moore?
Hold on. I would start Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is going to get 10 targets.
I never even heard of Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo's the rookie for Carolina. I'm excited to actually talk about Carolina today when we get there. Let me see if there's something I would do that's different. Sorry, guys. The thing I wanted to say about the Rams,
we got
Demarcus Robinson.
So we have.
I would play Demarcus Robinson.
I think so.
I think we have a YouTube.
I would actually rather go with Michael Wilson.
So we got a YouTube comment that I feel like is worth saying is Ezekiel Elliott. His last play for Dallas was playing center.
Yeah, I know. That's how poorly he was used his last 2 years in Dallas. And when in the times where Pollard would miss, and Zeke would actually get his 20+ touches, he was awesome. And so it was really good. Especially his touchdown play was it was vintage Zeke. It was a swing pass, and he dove for the last 5 yards because he's still an incredible athlete. He was never a guy. I've said this before. He was never a guy that was gonna make guys miss in the hole. He could outrun you, he could run you over, and he could jump over you. Those were the things that he could do. So
we're all going.
It's fun to watch. Right? I'm so excited for the end of the season for Zeke, but it's hard. I almost want to pick the Patriots, but I'm not gonna pick against Patrick Mahomes when he's pissed. I'm just not gonna do that.
There you go. Next up, we got the Giants versus the Saints. Giants are at +1.5. Over under is 39.5. Plus 210 if you're betting on the Giants, and minus 258. We skip
the Jets and Dolphins.
Huh?
We skip the Jets and Dolphins.
No, it's not. It's not
okay. It's different. Okay.
Oh, what? They changed it on me. They changed the lineup on me. It wasn't my fault.
Okay. I was confused.
They've done that from time to time.
So if you listened to the podcast last week, we talked about the Monday night games at the end of the podcast, and oh man, I was so close to picking the Giants to win on Monday night, and then when I watched that game, I was rooting for them to win the whole time. Like I know that I had picked the Packers to win, but just I like what the Giants have going on. They're fun. They're actually fun to watch right now. Danny Tommy DeVito is fun to watch play quarterback. He the Giants have got to be really wishing they hadn't made that deal with Daniel Jones. They should have franchised him and gave the actual deal to Saquon Barkley. They messed that one up. But because I think if I were them, I would rather see where DeVito is going because we know where Daniel Jones has been.
Yeah.
Right. And they get Darren Waller back this week. He's only going to play about half the game, but that's big. Jalen Hyatt's been, switched on since Tommy DeVito's taken over. Saquon Barkley has been a top 5 running back for fantasy. They're a fun team to watch right now. With all that said, they're going to lose today, I think.
What about you, Brian? You think they're going to lose?
I'm still crying.
I know you are. That's
he's still crying.
You're silent, so I know you're over there.
He's making
crying.
a tough decision.
I'm making some choices. Yeah.
Okay, Saints over Giants. Can you make us a decision on that real quick?
I like the Saints.
All right, we're all going Saints then. All right, and then let's get back up to that Jets versus Miami game.
Yeah.
Jets +6.5. Over unders 36. Plus 245 if you're betting on the Jets. Minus 305 if you're betting on the Dolphins.
All right, and just real quick, I want to put in my 2 cents. I was going my caveat coming into this was I was going to pick the Jets if Tyreek Hill was out.
Yeah, I was going to pick him regardless. Actually,
I'm picking the Jets.
I was picking him regardless.
Yeah, so, well, we can tell. Yeah. So tell us why.
The Jets defense, they looked re-energized last week when the offense looked like they were going to be able to score. And like I said, Zach Wilson played one of his best games so far last week against a Houston defense that's at least as good as this Miami defense. The weather is going to be nice in Miami, so I expect another good game from Zach Wilson. That's why. And one of these games, the 14 targets that Garrett Wilson gets each game is going to turn into monster fantasy points. It's going to happen at some point. Why not today?
I'm still going to go with the Dolphins. I'll take the lone wolf on the Dolphins.
That's a good one. Yeah, it didn't work out for you last week though.
No, it didn't. But I think we missed.
I think you lone wolfed on the Chiefs,
what,
right?
Though? We jacked up a lot of last week. I mean, we got out of there 7, 8, 8, and 9, but and Bezzy was the 9. Go Bezzy, but it wasn't our best week last week. All right, so next up, Texans versus Titans. Texans +3, over under 38, plus 142 if you're betting on the Texans, minus 170 if you're betting on the Titans.
Oh, real quick, fantasy football in the last game. With Tyreek Hill out, the Dolphins running backs both go to top 15 to me. Mostert's top 10 and Achan's top 15, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to try to rely on the run today.
Well, the Jets, that's where the Jets have been susceptible. They're actually been bad against pass-catching running backs, actually. So PPR, Achan moves up higher than Mostert does to me.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, in your rankings, Mostert was one of the guys we were going to talk about. I thought you had him a little bit too high.
And I feel, it's just, he's just so good.
Yeah.
And the thing is the Tennessee run defense is as good, if not better, than the Jets run defense. The Jets pass defense, excellent. Their run defense has not been as good. And the Titans with Jeffrey Simmons, the Dolphins were still able to run on them.
So, Texans, Titans.
Segue. Yeah, Will Levis was another thing that I had talked about at the end of the podcast last week, and for anybody who didn't see his monster play, where he shook off Bradley Chubb and ran over Jalen Ramsey in the same play.
That's pretty good.
That guy, Will Levis, is a man. I really think that he is like ascending. People should be paying attention to Will Levis. Like, if you can get him in Dynasty for in a 2-quarterback league, I think he's going to be a must-start guy for a really, really long time. Because of him playing better, DeAndre Hopkins is top 10 receiver to me the rest of the season. They get to play Houston twice. So, and you got Derrick Henry. And have you seen the numbers on Derrick Henry's last 5 games against the Texans?
No.
Oh my God.
Insane or what?
The worst one is like 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. The worst one. The last game was 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. He owns this team. And that was the Tennessee offensive line wasn't very good last year either. So, Derrick Henry's in my top 10. He's, and it's funny, if it feels like he's been getting less usage, but he actually really hasn't. They just haven't been putting him on the field when he doesn't get the ball. So when he's on the field, you can pretty much just expect the ball's going to Derrick Henry. Yeah. And it's and honestly, it's kind of, what are you going to do about it? Because a lot of teams like to trick people into you don't know who's going to get the ball or where the ball's going and stuff. And the Titans, it's really refreshing, that they play like 1975 style with Earl Campbell. They're like, we're going to give this ball to that wrecking ball behind us. Good luck with that.
So, are you going Titans?
I am, because the Texans, they're in Tennessee. The Titans are on a high. They're playing like I said, they're playing well. They're ascending. They're playing I honestly kind of think they're going to overtake Houston for a playoff spot. I like the Titans, what they have going on.
Well, without their quarterback, I can't see Houston doing much.
And their top 2 receivers, no Nico Collins today.
Yeah, I think we're going to see just how good Stroud is today, because without Stroud, they are going to look god awful.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's going to be bad. That's why if it had been Davis Mills, Tennessee would have been my favorite defense to start. Can you get the quarterback who's starting for us, please? For Houston. Because I know I know that we know the name, but we haven't seen it in a while.
Let's see here.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else actionable about this game. Like, if CJ Stroud had been playing and had some of his weapons, this would be a game where you'd want to play Tajay Spears. So maybe next time.
Case Keenum. Oh my God, Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. There you go.
Case Keenum is starting for the Texans today.
Yeah. Case Keenum's a professional quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
So
I still remember him from the skull chant. After that big playoff game. Anyway.
Case Keenum. Man.
You're talking about
I'm excited for him.
Stephon Diggs catch, the miracle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Case Keenum come back out and led him in the skull chant, the whole crowd. It was
He just didn't have a rocket of an arm. I think that was
he doesn't. He doesn't. But he's a good quarterback. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like Jeff Garcia. Remember Jeff Garcia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
He played for Niners, right?
Yep. Like, he's a smart quarterback. He's not. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over a lot, which is one of the reasons I was turned off of playing Houston. I think they're going to just turn around. I honestly think what Houston's going to do today is they're going to just try and give the ball to both of their running backs more than 10, 15 times.
So Casey, he was running with the Rams for a long time. I used to watching him play.
He's been around. He's been he was in Denver. He was the backup for Josh Allen last year. I feel like he won an important game for them. I can't remember what it was, but
Next up, Atlanta Falcons versus Carolina Panthers. Atlanta Falcons -3, over-unders 32, -155 for the Falcons, and +130 for the Panthers.
Let's go, Bijan. Let's go. Come on. We need Bijan's best game today. It has to be today. Come on. Everything but Desmond Ridder looked awesome for the Falcons last week. He easily lost them that game. It's funny. So when we're watching the games, there's obviously so many of them going on that it's impossible to watch all of them at the same time. And so you're watching the scores go by, right? And you're getting updates and stuff like that. And I'm like, we're getting updates on the Falcons Bucks game, and that was one of the games I missed. And I'm just like, how is this happening? This doesn't make it like what? How are the Buccaneers beating them? Like it was like 24-12 at one point or something like that. And rewatching the game, it wasn't the Buccaneers. Like the Buccaneers did not play good football. Baker Mayfield played good football the last 5 minutes of the game, which he's done a lot. To be honest with you, like this season, I'm not sure if there's been a better fourth quarter quarterback than Baker. He's been awesome. Like in just high pressure scenarios and in games where the Buccaneers have been losing, and then in the fourth quarter he makes them relevant. Like I think they ended up losing the game to to Philly on Monday night by I don't think they lost by 3 scores. I can't remember exactly what the score of the game was, but he kept them in that game. Just made it compelling to watch, and like Tampa Bay was competitive until the end of that game. But they are a competitive team because of Baker Mayfield. But the Falcons, they were doing whatever they wanted offensively, and it was just miscues by Ridder. He fumbled the ball multiple times. The pick 6 was awful. There was a couple other passes that should have got picked off that didn't get picked off. He was just bad, like really, really, really bad.
And Drake London was a hero last week. What do you think about him this week?
I love Drake London. I'm a huge fan, and he just cooked Carlton Davis last week. It was awesome.
Right.
And he's been doing that to people every week. Like Ritter's been playing so bad at quarterback that like a lot of people don't know. And I said this either last week or the week before. I'm hoping that Drake London kind of has a bad end of the season so that I can get him cheap in Dynasty, because I want him on my team.
He has proven he's got the talent.
He is so good. To me, he's like the next Mike Evans. That's what he reminds me of. He's right. Like he's big. He can run routes. He has just like a sense of when to protect himself, and he can go up and get any football. So I like Drake London a lot.
Well, let's get him a quarterback.
Let's send Justin Fields down to Atlanta.
So you guys got Falcons or Panthers?
I got the Falcons winning this game, but I do because the Panthers are awful. They're just terrible. They made Jamal Williams look good last week. There were a couple of plays where Jamal Williams carried the ball, and I thought it was Kamara. And that's not something you say. You know, Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara are not running backs that you mistake for each other. But last week that was interesting was Bryce Young looked like he was more willing to take off out of the pocket, and he can do that. If Bryce Young will like drop back, and just maybe for right now, because it works for other young quarterbacks. Drop back, your first read's not there. Look to get out of the pocket. Get out of the pocket. Stop sitting there and taking hits, because that's what's happening to him. Is he's pumping, and then the pressure's on him, and he's not able to to get away. If he was just going back there, taking his first read, and then making sure that he had a lane, because it happens. There was a lot of openings for him, at least against the Saints, and that looked like a way that he could possibly help the offense actually move. That being said, I thought he played maybe his best game of the season in a game where they lost by more than 2 touchdowns, but. Still not excited about anything that they have going on offensively.
So we're all going Falcons?
Yeah.
Okay.
So next up, Chicago Bears versus the Browns. +3 on the Chicago Bears. Over under is 37. +124 if you're betting on the Bears, and -148 if you're betting on the Browns.
So I just traded Justin Fields away in my half PPR Dynasty League to get back a high second round pick and Matthew Stafford.
Ooh.
And I traded Justin Fields and I forget something.
Okay.
It was something.
A piece.
Huh? And a piece. It was something. Yeah. But anyway, it feels like just since that moment that I made that trade, I've been right because Stafford has been awesome, but people have been talking about Justin Fields and ascending their dynasty lists and also their end of season rankings and stuff like that, and so I've just been like, man, did I make a mistake? But watching the game against the Lions last week, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up doing what they're asking him to do. There's no way. They're asking him to be the lead running back and also be, their quarterback. And he's just he's taken so many hits. He came up lame a couple of times against the Lions. So to me, it's like, it's the same thing that we watch with Anthony Richardson, and all the same questions that people have about Anthony Richardson, they should have about Justin Fields, while Justin Fields doesn't have the frame.
That was my opinion of him last year, was that, he's really good, but he can't do that all the time.
Yeah, he's good for fantasy now.
Right,
Yeah.
and if he can't do that all the time, then he can't be a quarterback.
Right.
So,
and I haven't seen anything yet that tells me that he's advanced in terms of being able to be a passer.
Right.
I don't see anything different
I don't either.
when I watch him. Like, it works for fantasy. 80% of the time it works every time, if he's out there. So, like, he's going to give you, like, 10-plus carries a game. And so you're getting a baseline of, like, 60, 70 rushing yards from this guy. It's insane. Like, he's going to be a 1,000-yard-a-year rusher. But he's also only going to pass for, like, 2,200 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yep.
So
start him while you can, but,
and I wouldn't today.
You wouldn't start him today?
At the Browns? No. I would not start him at the Browns today.
I forget how good
He's at the
he's
at the bottom of my
like
he's right around 12. I think Fields is 11 for me this week.
I was like, I'd start him over Flacco.
Yeah, you would start him. Yes, you would. Brian's like, I'll take him. Please help. But actually, no, I like Flacco better in this game.
Oh, really?
I do. Flacco's dealing, dude. He looks good. He looks good. The Browns' offense look good. Like they look like they've got juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean. And
this offense looks better now than it ever has with Deshaun Watson.
I agree. And they could make things interesting in the playoffs. I really think that this is a playoff team here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get there.
I think they're going to get
especially
there
with Pittsburgh faltering.
Maybe win one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's going to come down to them in Cincinnati. It's going to be interesting. Like when we get to, because I think we have one more Browns-Bengals matchup, so we get Flacco versus Browning for the playoffs.
Yes. We're all going Browns, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, we're going to
there.
Browns.
Any weapons we need to talk about? You're going to want to start Cooper.
Well, you're going to start Justin Fields is still a top 12 quarterback to me, so you're probably starting him if you have him. There's not a whole bunch of consensus not top 12 guys that I'd rather start of him. If you happen to have grabbed Stafford, congratulations.
Right. DJ Moore is too hot, so you got to start DJ.
Got to start DJ Moore. If you're gonna start a Bears running back, I hate to say it is very disappointing. I went into last week talking about how excited I was to see if Roschon was going to get more work, and then he spent the whole game on the sideline while they gave the ball to Dante Foreman.
Yep. Take from that what you will.
It was not effective.
Yeah.
Next up, Bucks versus Packers. The Buccaneers +3.5, over unders 41.5, money lines +160 and -192 if you're betting on the Packers.
This is one of the two fantasy games I want to target this week. This is going to be high scoring, high flying. I want all the pieces.
You just don't know where all the points are going to come from. Like on the Buccaneer side, you expect it to come from Mike Evans and Rashad White, you know. But on the Green Bay side, because they're missing their stud at the top, I I want to say it's Jaden Reed, but I could see it being Romeo Dobbs too,
Right.
and I could see it being Dontavian Wicks. If you've not watched Wicks play, Wicks is kind of a beast.
Some news flashed about him. I can't remember if it was good or bad. We'll do an injury report here.
Yeah, we're getting close to that, I think. I like the Packers at home. Like I said, the Buccaneers I didn't think deserved to win last week. I thought they were just kind of handed the win by Ritter. Jordan Love has been playing excellent football. I thought that game on Monday night was great. That was a great. They lost, but that was a great game. I didn't think he played poorly. I think he was really missing Christian Watson, and that was against a Giants team that's playing a little better defensively than Tampa Bay is right now. Tampa Bay just gave up over 400 yards to Atlanta,
Right.
So I don't see how I could pick them to win in Green Bay.
I will take Green Bay as well.
I would be happy to be wrong about this, but I am also taking Green Bay. I need them to lose, though. Next up, Niners versus Cardinals. Niners minus 12.5. Over-unders 48.5. Minus 850 if you're betting on the Niners, and plus 575 if you're betting on the Cardinals.
All right, guys. Here's where I need the fantasy gods to be with me.
Christian McCaffrey.
I have Kyler. No, yeah, and I'd be happy to see the game go back and forth. I really would.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see like a 40-28 game.
I'll take it.
That would be excellent.
All the touchdowns to McCaffrey. I need it.
Unfortunately, that's not what the 49ers do. They either beat you 30-13 or they lose to you 20-17. But no, like I had said earlier, if for anybody that had missed it, the 49ers are missing a bunch of defensive pieces, and the Cardinals are coming off a bye, and it looks like they've had a really good plan with bringing Kyler back. I talked about that. We've seen time and time again, players miss chunks of time, and when they come back, if they haven't played already that season, or maybe even if they have, that takes them time to get into football shape, what they call football shape. And so he's had an opportunity to get into football shape and get a bye after a month. So it's like it's almost, it was just perfectly planned in my opinion. And I mean, he's Kyler Murray, so he doesn't have to the Cardinals don't have to score 30 points in order for Kyler Murray to have a 35-point fantasy game. He can do that when they score 17.
Yeah, my biggest concern is with Hollywood Brown out, right? I believe he's out.
Hollywood Brown's been out even when he's on the field.
But he's still a field stretcher. He's still important, even when he's not.
They
making
have
catches,
honestly, dude. Like if
there.
you haven't been watching their team, it's not Hollywood Brown. Their offense runs through Rondale Moore and who's the other one that I'm forgetting? They have the two tiny guys. They have Rondale Moore and
McBride and Wilson.
There's one more. I'm forgetting. There's one more little tiny guy.
Oh, I'm not sure who
Dortch.
you're talking about. Oh,
Dortch is
okay.
Dortch, and actually Dortch is their field stretcher. Like he's the guy that they're dropping back and throwing deep passes and incompleting them to Dortch.
And I'm wrong anyway. It does look like Hollywood is going to play.
So, and with Michael Wilson coming back, to me, he's what they've really needed, that intermediate route runner that's big enough to go win over the middle, because you can't throw the ball over a linebacker to a guy who's 5'7".
Right.
You just need a bigger target.
Like McBride
And Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson is a big target. That's why they brought him in. And I mean, obviously, they'll have Marvin Harrison Jr. next year, who's 6'4". Mm-hmm. So they'll have their big target, but that's not until next year. I'm picking the 49ers.
I think we all are.
We're all picking 49ers.
Niners. I'll take them to cover too.
And me too. I don't expect the Cardinals to be competitive. I just hope that Kyler is able to score some touchdowns today. I need him. I need you, Kyler. I need Kyler.
All right. So next up, we got Brian's report on injuries.
Oh, the Brian
and maybe
report.
some weather.
The bad man report. That's what we'll call it.
The bad man report. That's pretty good.
All right. Talking injuries here. C.J. Stroud, I think everybody knows, is out. Case Keenum is the replacement. We've got Geno Smith still questionable. Yeah. I mean, if you've got Geno, just pick up Locke and pray, or go somewhere else.
I would go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Honest, I would just.
I would too. Well, I have.
Especially if Jalen, like so it's crazy because we're going back. So real quick, we're going back and forth on this because on the way over here, I was telling him I wanted to adjust my rankings and I wanted to take up the Seahawks receivers because the Eagles lost Darius Slay to knee surgery, so I expect them to be able to score more. But now without Jalen Hurts, if the Eagles aren't going to be able to score, then the Seahawks aren't going to have to score as much. And it makes me less interested in like all of it. So so my point in saying is don't try and play Geno or Drew Lock. Play somebody else.
There you go.
There's got to be a better option.
All right. Hurts, as we were just talking about, questionable.
Doubtful, you said, right?
No, questionable.
Okay, I thought you said they downgraded him to doubtful.
No.
Oh, it's questionable? Okay.
Yeah. Running backs, Aaron Jones is in.
Oh, that's huge.
Right, and A.J. Dillon is out. So
downgrade Patrick Taylor.
Yes.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron
Jones is
the
a top 20 play.
Devon Achane is in. Jamal Williams is in. Pacheco is out. Brian Robinson is out.
Mm-hmm. The Robinson one being out is big too. To me, Antonio Gibson also becomes a top 24 starter.
Yep. Becomes a good DFS play as well.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Wide receivers, DJ Moore is in. Godwin in. Noah Brown in. Devontae Parker in. Dontavian Wicks, that we were talking about earlier, is in. Tyreek Hill is out. Boo. Olave is out.
Olave is out.
Yes, Olave is out.
Olave is out.
Christian Watson, another one of my receivers, out. Nico Collins, another one of my receivers, out. Juju, out. All right. Tutu, not expected to play. Michael Wilson.
And that's why I like DeMarcus Robinson. And if you've watched them the last few weeks while their offense has been ascending, he has been an auxiliary piece that, like, if you he's producing.
Yeah.
Like
I was looking at it. Yeah.
He's a wide receiver 3 start for me.
Evidently for me too. Michael Wilson expected to play. Hollywood Brown expected to play. Brandon Cooks expected to play. Tight ends. Darren Waller is in for the first time.
Brandon Cooks playing is a big deal. Like he was trending the other way.
Oh, okay.
That's a big deal.
Dalton Schultz is in, and Taysom Hill is in. That's it for injuries. Weather, there are a couple of games to watch out for. The first one being Falcons and Panthers. So on top of being just a bad game in general, we have 100% chance of rain. Rain expected throughout the day.
Awesome. Give it to Bijan 30 times. Let's go.
And the most important part, wind factor 10 to 20 miles an hour.
There was another game that had 20
who's
miles.
got 10 to 20 miles an hour?
Falcons and Panthers.
There was another game that had
one.
like 20 mile an hour winds too. It might have been the Bears game.
The Bears and Browns are my next one to go to. These are the two games that are weather concerns. So
and
be
if
careful.
and I'm sorry, real quick. If Carolina's got 100% chance of rain, then Jacksonville is probably also going to be messy. They're only like 400 miles apart.
I will check that out in a second. But anyway, the two like bad games that I saw, Bears and Browns are the other one. 85% chance of rain, 16 mile an hour winds.
Okay.
So that's like right there where it's going to affect things.
That makes Jerome Ford a fun start for me. I like Jerome Ford.
We had a question earlier about Ford. Do you change that?
Who was can you scroll back up and see who the options were? I remember it was close. I remember thinking it was close at the time. We picked a receiver over Ford. I think it was Jaden Reed, maybe.
It was Jay Connor.
No, it was Connor.
Oh, I'd still play Connor.
Okay.
I would still play Connor. Yeah. I wouldn't be like, ooh, the weather is going to make him better than Connor. Yeah.
And then Cowboys and Bills, 88% chance of rain, 10 mile an hour winds. So that could be something as well.
Oh man, I picked up Gallup.
Eagles, Seahawks, going to be some rain, not much of a wind factor.
In one of my leagues right now, I'm about to sit Chris Olave for Cooper Kupp. Feels
Kupp finally is starting to get those.
He's looking like
grabs.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Like that. And the touchdown last week, awesome. And it was vintage, you know. They have that connection, because if you're watching it, it almost looks like, unless you've watched them play together, it almost looks like a throwaway when he throws the ball. Mm-hmm. But it's just like that's like. And then you see immediately after he lets it go, you see Cooper, you know, break back to the corner, and the ball's already coming. It was great. It was great play. It was great. It was great to see, because what I had said about them a couple weeks ago was that they needed Cooper Kupp to be Cooper Kupp inside the red zone, and
you said it too in text message right before it happened too.
And that's a thing, yeah. And that's a thing that he's not going to get with anybody else. They don't score on that play if Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford don't have the connection that they do. So it's fun to watch.
So next up, speaking of Washington Commanders versus the LA Rams, Washington Commanders plus 6.5, over unders 48.5, plus 250 if you're betting on the Commanders, and minus 310 if you're betting on the Rams. I think this game for the Rams is going to be very much like I wouldn't say get right, but more like a tune-up. They're going to start.
They're going to tune him up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be ugly, because honestly, like, if you watch what the Dolphins just did to the Commanders before their bye, the Rams are playing better offensively than the Dolphins are right now.
I'd have to look at some stuff to agree with you there.
When you play against the Rams, you're not going like, oh, this is an under 50 team. You know what I mean? Right now, it's like you're scared.
They're dangerous. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I feel so that was the thing I didn't say during your Homer minute that I was going to bring up, and now we can talk about it, is that it just, every time I hear a fantasy analyst talk about how good, or how much they'd like to have Matthew Stafford starting, you know, right now on their team, it's just, every time I hear it, it's just like, yeah, that's right. I told everybody 2 weeks ago. So he had the one good game against who did he throw 4 touchdowns against? It was at home. Was that the Charger? No, that was Browns.
Maybe, I don't remember. I remember the game, but not the team.
But yeah, and I was like, man, they look so good offensively, just with everything, that I was like, man, I think Stafford can have a top 5 quarterback finish. And 2 games since then, and
we were all talking about him at the beginning of the year as well. We were very high on him, and then he had that lull. You know what I mean?
They were hurt at the beginning of the year. They had a lot of injuries at the beginning of the year,
and now they're coming back and looking strong.
And I had him riding my bench. I had him riding my bench the whole season almost.
Wow. Yeah, he did. You dropped him for a couple days or something like that. And I was like, oh, I did have a chance to get it. I went back and I looked at his history, because I'd love to be starting Stafford today. I would feel pretty safe if I had Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
he's top 5 for me.
Earlier, when I said there were 2 games to target, this was the other one. This is my main one.
But the other side is you need Sam Howell to play better than he's played in a month.
That is true. He hasn't been playing great.
Because it almost feels like honestly the situation, like, if it wasn't for like the dumpster fire that is the Los Angeles Chargers, like, we'd be talking about the Commanders. They've already gotten their defensive coordinator fired. Like, they were giving up 40 points a game already. Like, we're just like, they went on a bye. So did they fix anything? They didn't change their staff anymore.
Well, I do expect McLaurin to get the ball more than 0 times.
Why? And this is talking with somebody who wants him to get the ball. Like, it is impossible for me when I go to rank them to put Curtis Samuel in front of him. But you should, because that's where Sam Howell's going with the ball first. And Terry McLaurin joked about it after their last game. Yeah, I was running a lot of cardio.
Mm-hmm. And the squeaky wheel syndrome, that's a real thing for receivers.
I agree with that, but
I expect McLaurin to have a day.
I tend to agree with that. It's just that it's Ron Rivera, and Ron Rivera doesn't ever do anything that anybody expects.
That's true. I'll give you that.
So I want to, it would be good for me if the Commanders were able to score and keep up a little bit at least with the Rams. I have trouble with it. Because I don't think I ranked McLaurin inside my top 24. Like if you're in a 2 receiver league, as juicy as this game is, I'm still looking elsewhere.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, we have to work a bet there because I will definitely take McLaurin in a bet.
I'm gonna pull up my rankings right now. Oh, he loves to bet on McLaurin.
I really do. Dude, I love the guy. He's got so much talent.
All right, so I had him right behind T. Higgins. I had him right behind Jordan Addison, Deontay Johnson, Cortland Sutton, and T. Higgins. Which one of those guys, you'd start him over those guys?
There's probably other guys.
No, okay, and let's continue going forward. Jaden Reed, Drake London, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle. Stop me when I get to someone you'd say.
No, I'm trying to find. I do better when I can see the name than
I know, but look at the names above him. There's no way that you'd have the confidence going into this week to start him over any of those guys.
I would have started him over Lockett, over Higgins, over Deontay Johnson, over Jordan Addison, probably over Jaden Reed.
Lockett is one spot behind him. Lockett is
I'm just going.
And I wouldn't and I wouldn't do that. I honestly
I'd start him over Cooper.
Let's see.
Lockett McLaurin. Do we hear a Lockett McLaurin bet going?
I'll take Cooper.
Take Amari Cooper. No, I need to root for the Browns. No, that's
he needs to root for the Browns.
So what? What? Go with your convictions. It doesn't matter if you need to root for him. You're telling people that you think Terry McLaurin is a better start than Amari Cooper, but you're not willing to take the bet because you need something else to happen.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, this is
that doesn't make sense. You don't bet on things that you need to happen.
This is mental health.
You bet on things that you expect to happen.
No,
you don't emotional bet. You work in a casino.
I get it.
No, I agree. And if we were betting money or something, I'd be like, all right, I'll take Cooper. You can have Cooper, but
hat bet. Come on.
No.
Come on, you won't even wear a hat for this one. That's not even serious.
I need to be screaming for Joe Flacco to throw the ball, and if I can't be like, oh damn it, he throw it to Cooper.
Why?
You know what I mean? No,
you're
throw the ball.
And that's what I'm saying. You're that worried about wearing a hat that you won't root against you won't root for something to happen that results in you wearing a hat and winning a fantasy playoff game.
Move off of it.
I'm sorry. No, not yet. We can't because this is.
I think we need to.
Come on, no. We can't move off of this because this is people need to see this from Brian. It's so hard to bet with him because this is how he thinks. Because
how about Ridley?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Oh yeah.
I was we can find another.
Oh yeah, I'll take Ridley.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you're taking Ridley. You're taking
and I get to root for my interests. All right, sweet.
Yes. See.
And see, now I don't even have to think about starting JSN over Ridley. Actually, no. I mean, Ridley still did get 13 targets last week, and there's no Christian Kirk. He's not coming back.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Where's Ridley playing at right now?
Huh?
Where's Ridley playing at?
They are playing at home against Baltimore. We're about to talk about them in a couple games.
Okay. All right. So we're all going Rams, I'm guessing.
We are, because we smart guys.
Yep.
Cowboys versus the Bills. Cowboys +2. Over-unders 49. +110 if you're betting on the Cowboys. -130 if you're betting on the Bills.
This is the only game left on our schedule that I'm worried about. We are going to smash Miami next week and Detroit the week after that. And then, if the Washington game matters, we'll win that one too. But this is the game that I'm worried about. It's in Buffalo. We're playing in conditions that we don't play in all the time because the Cowboys don't actually play against the Giants a whole lot in New York in December. They meet up a lot early in the season, so the Cowboys get the best New York weather a lot of the times. It was a downpour this year, but their offense played well in that game, so I expect them to play well tonight. And obviously, I'm going to pick my boys to win. Sorry, Josh, but because the AFC is so bad, the Bills will still get there.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be a interesting game, fun to watch.
Should be the best game of the day.
I think so too. And I'm going to go ahead and take Buffalo here. Not of any true conviction or anything. I just think this is going to be a great game, hard to call, and I'm going to go for Buffalo pulling it out in the end. So, start all your weapons. I don't think there's anybody that you've been relying on.
The only person we talked about a little bit earlier is James Cook. Is based on like if you're somebody who's been riding James Cook, just temper your expectations a little bit. Because the Cowboys are good against pass catching running backs.
And if you've been riding James Cook, you probably have somebody that you've been switching in and out for him from time to time. And
I don't think over the last month. Really? I don't know if you're aware how much he's scoring over the last month. I'm pretty sure over the course I'm pretty sure season, James Cook is like top 8 over the last month.
Okay. But over the course of the season,
but there was a dramatic shift in their philosophy that sparked this last month. Right. So it's not like, over the course of the season, because like the entirety of their season with this, offensive philosophy, I
see what you're saying.
He's producing.
All right. Well,
and
he's one of those guys that I own nowhere.
So here's James Cook's last 4 PPR games. RB23, 12 points. RB10, 19 points. RB12, 16 points. RB3, 25 points. And these are his opportunities. He went from 14 to 21, 23, and then he only had 15 last week. On 15 opportunities, he scored 25 points. Like he's just.
Did he look good in the game? I thought he struggled a bit last week, if my memory serves.
10 for 58, and then 5 for 83.
I'm just saying eyeball test. I didn't think he looked good.
I thought that he was the best part of their offense last week. I thought Stephon Diggs struggled. I'm worried about Stephon Diggs right now. Like I'm worried about Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, me too.
We're not talking a whole lot about him because he had such a rocket start to the season, but he's been killing people. I mean, thank you Tyreek Hill, because Stephon Diggs did not get me to the playoffs like that. Like right so far, like
you have Hill and Diggs on a playoff team, so do I.
And so far, it's funny that seems to be a popular combination because in the Dynasty league we're in together, they're on a team together.
Are they really?
Yes, on one team that he also has Keenan Allen.
Oh.
Dude,
that's funny.
Yeah, that D'Artagnan team is loaded.
Yeah,
there's a couple of loaded teams for like a championship run right now. I'm playing against one of them.
Yeah, I saw.
We're gonna go ahead and let Ken lone wolf the Cowboys on this one.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, that feels good. I need my sweetie tonight. I need CeeDee Lamb to go off. I need you, buddy. I need you to be wide receiver 1 this week. I need you to recognize that while it was great that you've done what you've done so far, this is the fantasy playoffs, and if you want to be remembered as a stud, this is when you got to do it, buddy.
Next up, Ravens versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Ravens -3.5, over unders 40.5, -185 if you're betting on the Ravens, and +154 if you're betting on the Jags.
Yeah, all right. I would like to pick the Jaguars in this game, but I ain't.
Right.
Like
now, how's Trevor? Trevor is out, or I can't remember.
No, he's in. He played last week too. And he was fine.
Didn't he get knocked out?
No, that was game before.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was like, I remember him.
No, he.
No,
he
and
actually, I vividly remember him taking a hit where I was like, "Isn't his knee fucked up? Like this is bad." And he just got right back up.
Okay.
Because he went to he dropped back, and a blitzer came through like in between 2 linemen who were locked up with other defenders. He just like slid right through because he was a cornerback, and Lawrence saw him and tried to run away, and he wrapped up his legs, and so like you see Lawrence do that where he falls down and his knees hit the ground first, and it's just like it looks like it's like one of those just like could have hurt his ankle plays, and his ankle's already messed up, but I thought he was fine. I didn't think that was the reason they lost last week. I think the Browns are just playing good football.
The Browns are.
Real quick, is there a bye this week for any teams?
No,
we're
done.
Byes are all.
Byes were last week. The last 2 were the Commanders and the Cardinals. They're done now.
I like Baltimore in the game here. Jacksonville just seems like they've kind of taken a wrong turn.
Their defense.
They're beating bad
and I'm
teams,
so concerned. I'm playing against Lamar Jackson today, dude. I'm scared because their defense their pass defense has been so bad, and that's why I'm picking the Ravens today, because I just don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to stop them. And the Ravens play pretty solid defense, and so even though it's in Jacksonville, I think it'll be competitive. But I think the Ravens will win by somewhere around a touchdown.
Some pieces that you may, I mean, because
Likely.
the Ravens are
Isaiah
hard to,
Likely,
yeah.
like the Jaguars just gave up 2 touchdowns to David Njoku, and it's not like they were particularly spectacular plays. He was pretty wide open.
Zay Flowers has been better lately. Probably
Zay Flowers has just
him.
been Zay. Look, here's the Zay experience. Here's what you're gonna get from Zay. Okay, you're gonna get 6 to 8 catches. You're gonna get 60 to 85 yards, and he might score. That is going to be the Zay Flowers experience.
There you go. And if you want to enjoy that experience, go ahead and
He's
start.
going to be a solid wide receiver too.
How do you feel about the Gus Bus and Mitchell?
They're like any game where you expect the Jaguar or the Ravens to score, like you should it's a flip a coin whether or not Gus is going to be scoring. And so I want to start him in those scenarios. So I think I put him in my top 30 this week. So you should be able to find 2 running backs that you can start over Gus, but he's right there. Like if you have to make a spot start, he is top of the list of players you could start to me at running back because it's so thin. So yeah, I would expect him to score today, and then Keaton Mitchell is just. Is he ever going to get the ball? Is he ever going to get the ball?
I feel like he's
awesome. He's awesome when he gets the ball.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what he reminds me of. It's almost like
he reminds me of a long ball hitter. He reminds me like a receiver
I was going to say Darren Sproles.
Gabe Davis or something.
I was going to say Darren Sproles because he's just like with his 8 to 10 touches, he could score twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just not going to get more than 8 to 10 touches. And if you look at what they're doing since he's been healthy, it's been consistent.
It looked like he got the ball a little bit more last week. No?
No.
I thought
Every single week you can look at what he's doing, and the Ravens are keeping him somewhere right around 10 opportunities. It's 8 carries and 1 to 2 targets.
Okay.
And so I am not excited to start him. Let me make sure. Let's see. The last 3 games, 8 carries, 9 carries, 9 carries. 1 target, 2 targets, 2 targets. And he's playing 30, and the snap percentage is varying. It's over the last 4 games, 24%, 36%, 46%, 33%. And the 33% came after the bye. So they're not ramping him up.
Yeah, that's just his role. That's who he is.
That right now, that appears to be his role. They appear to be comfortable with that.
Fair enough.
That's it for the Sunday games. I think we should probably, since it's 9:30 or pretty close, roll into our DraftKings lineups, and then we'll read off the rest of those games. This way everybody has the chance to change their lineups if they have to.
Yeah, if you think, you want to just listen to Brian.
So if
have I been doing good at this?
I guess I'll go first. I think I have mine pulled up and ready to go.
I do too. I was just looking at the scores. Sorry.
Okay. So first up, I got Stafford at 6,000. Robinson from B. Robinson. K. Williams. Ayuk.
You talking about Bijan?
Yeah, B. Robinson. Yep. Williams. Ayuk. Dobbs. I don't know why I was saying that wrong. Nakua. I'm seeing more targets to the tight ends for the Rams, so I'm going with Higbee since he'll be back today. And then Gallup is my flex for only 3,300, and then the Packers defense.
Give me 1 second. I had Raheem Mostert in my lineup.
Got to move him out.
Yeah, I moved him out because to me he's not where you want to be.
That's fair. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and go with my lineup then. I think you have to start Matty Stafford today. I mean, especially at 6,000, it's just really hard not to do anything else in cash. I also think that Christian McCaffrey should be a lock in your lineup. Really hard not to go with him today. If he gets less than 20, 30 points, I'd be shocked. And then you go with the mini Christian McCaffrey and Kyron Williams. He's getting the same kind of usage and just looks great in that system. Stafford and Williams, even though they're, not quite the correlation you usually want, but in cash, I feel like both those players are going to do very well. One may not go to 40, but they're both going to be in the 20s. I went with Terry McLaurin, so I'm putting my money where my mouth is on Scary Terry there. And then Jalen Reed is also in my lineup, and so is some savings here with Demarcus Robinson, only 3,600, and with a great matchup today. And we talked about Tutu Atwell being out. Tight end Trey McBride, feels like that's about the only place that he has to throw today. So and McBride has been a beast. If you haven't been watching him, McBride is very impressive.
Super happy about that.
Yeah. And then in my flex, I've got Antonio Gibson, 5,200. It seems like he's going to get some really good usage today, and the Rams are going to be behind, or the Rams are going to be leading, and so I just feel like those little dump offs to Gibson could be pretty useful. And then my DST, I've got the Jets with no Tyreek Hill. I feel like the Jets are going to give Miami some big problems. So there
Probably
you go.
should have picked up the Jets.
All right, and mine might change slightly because I'm looking at like $400 remaining, but I actually like where I'm at, so we'll see.
Okay.
It'll probably end up being locked this way. I'm going to start Zach Wilson at $4,900. At $4,900,
Oh my goodness.
At $4,900, all he has to do is throw one touchdown.
Yeah, 15 points is all he needs.
So
But
yeah, like we're talking 15 points and a touchdown and 150 yards because Zach is going to rush for about 20.
is this your tournament lineup? Or
This is my cash lineup.
your cash lineup?
This is my cash. Actually, there's super
Big old cojones, sir.
There's super cheap. Well, he's so cheap.
Yeah, no,
I
he
mean,
is, he is.
if Zach was like $5,800, I'd be on Stafford.
Yeah.
But to be able to save $1,100 and play Zach Wilson and shoot for 20 instead of shooting for 30 like you're shooting with
Can
Stafford.
we clip this, Ray?
So
Like
We
clip
can.
it, you know what I mean? Just have him picking
we
Wilson
can.
over
We can
Stafford
figure out
for
how to
next
do
week.
it. Yeah. It's not that it's just that I like the savings. Hey, I like the savings, and it's a stack that I believe in. I'm stacking them with Garrett. So
There you
Garrett
go.
Wilson's at $5,800.
Yeah, that's too
So,
cheap for a receiver of his
Yeah.
talent.
At running back, I've got Rashad White for 7,000, Kyron Williams for 7,500. At receiver, I've got Jaden Reed at 4,900. I've got Rashee Rice at 6,100. Garrett Wilson at 58. My savings comes with Tucker Kraft at tight end for 3,000. And who someone we didn't talk about earlier, but with Christian Watson out, is another one of the guys that should see some work today. And then in my flex, I've got Bijan Robinson at $6,800, and I'm gonna play the Falcons defense against Bryce Young in the rain.
That seems like a good idea.
Oh boy, that could be good.
All right. And do you want to run it back with the tournament lineup?
Yeah, give me 1 second. So, in my tournament lineup, I spent a little more at quarterback. I'm going to play Jordan Love
Okay.
at $6,200. I'm going to play Breece Hall at $6,400. Rashad White again at $7,000. Stacking back against him, I've got stacking with him, I've got tournament stack. Jordan Love, I'm stacking with Jaden Reed. Stacking back against them, I've got a double stack of Rashad White and Cade Otton at tight end. I've got Breece Hall stacking with the Jets defense. And then I've got DeAndre Hopkins at $6,200. Rashee Rice, because he's just at $6,100. Like, enjoy it while it lasts. Because apparently the computer system hasn't figured out that Rashee Rice is the #1 target in Kansas City. And that's true. Over the last month, he's leading the team in target share, not Travis Kelce. And then I've got Kyron Williams in the flex at $7,500. He's my RB2 today. So,
Okay.
like, I mean, you have
What's your
CMC
defense?
and then it's Kyron Williams to me.
Did you say your defense?
My defense is the Jets for $2,500. That
So do you have CMC in any of your lineups?
no, you guys are live.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I can't get him out of my lineups.
I wanted to, but there was that was where I started.
Yeah.
Was with CMC, but I just saw so many value plays and started like playing with them, and I was like, there are so many of these guys that I
know
like
what you mean.
that it feels like I'm sacrificing CMC, but I'm also not playing any like
Scrubs,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and my lineup will be a perfect example of what you're speaking of here. Because I do have one scrub in my running back spot that I'm not super happy with, but he's got some potential.
Hold
here.
on, let me. you have one scrub in your running back spot. He's going to be cheap.
$4,800.
He's $4,800. I'm not. No, I don't know who.
He's
it is.
not an obvious one. It's kind of who I could afford. And
Is it Gibson?
No, I could not afford Gibson. He's 52.
That's too much.
So anyway, I've got Matt Stafford again. I'm just doubling down on this game. I'm really just super stacking this game, and I'm going to do that with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua this time. So really stacking them up with Matty Stafford there. McCaffrey, like I said, I can't get away from him, and I'm going to stack back on the other side with Terry McLaurin. My other running back is going to be Tajay Spears. He's only 4,800, so as long as he can get me to 15 or 20, yes, that's gambling on him getting me the touchdown, which I don't love, but 4,800 is all I could afford, and I really like my other pieces. My other savings was at tight end. I went with T. Kraft. What's his first name? Tucker Kraft.
How much was he?
3,000.
3,000.
Pretty good price there. And then more savings with DeMarcus Robinson again at 3,600.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
And then the Jets at 25. Like I said, I just think they're going to be the defense of the day.
They are now with Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Like, I mean, they're a good one to play. The Dolphins are still a dangerous team. So like with the rain knowledge, I was just like, I couldn't move off the Falcons.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it, and the Falcons are 3,600, so you could definitely like go down for some savings, but they could shut them out.
Yeah.
So my tournament, I've got Stafford, B. Robinson, K. Williams, Gallup. He's everywhere today for me because
He's so cheap.
Yeah, because he's so cheap.
It was almost a super good play. Like if Cooks hadn't played, that was going to be something that I would have brought up for sure.
So Nacua, and then I have Debo Samuel for the Niners. I feel like I didn't go like, obviously I didn't do Rams versus Commanders because I was looking. I don't think the Commanders are going to score much today, so I wasn't looking to stack their fantasy. So Samuel, Higbee again. I think you're going to start targeting the tight ends more, and he was only 3,600. And then I also picked up Njoku from also San Francisco, and then the Rams defense.
What do you think about the Rams rookie tight end?
I wish I would have seen him play more snaps. You
like him?
He had that stretch, right? He had that stretch catch, which was very promising.
He had a couple plays over the middle where I was like, "Oh, this is something the Rams offense doesn't typically do." Because he was able to break a couple of different tackles, and then move. He can move. He can run. So I like him.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I think he was the third tight end too, right? I think
going into the season, I think so.
Yeah, so
they hadn't. I don't know. I don't even know who the other guy is anymore. The second tight end.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Higbee.
But he got hurt too, and so they had to pull in this dude, and he made some plays for us.
Brian's been sitting on in our Dynasty League since like July or so. Because I went to go pick him up in the Iron Throne, and now it's like, you serious? Somebody has him. Went and look at the history to find out when he got picked up, and it's like and I on this note, like I'm after the season's over, we're gonna start a cut down. We're gonna cut some spots. The rosters are too deep.
That's fair.
And I'll give people time, but I think we're gonna cut 5 spots, and it'll just be like you'll have 2 months to cut 3 guys. And then you'll have another couple months to cut the last 2 guys, so people have time to make moves and cut their rosters down. So it's not just like it's happening, but those rosters are just there's too many players on people's rosters. It's insane.
Yeah,
and with all the IR slots, because we have like 3 IR slots or 4 IR slots, so it's just like there's nobody available. Nobody. I had to pay up for when Jake Browning happened.
Because everybody wants him.
Yeah.
But what were you saying, Ray?
I was just gonna make one little note on that on the tight ends. It just seems that the Rams offense need to make tight end plays in order to
in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
they need to be able to attack the middle of the field. Yeah.
Yep, and that was like an element that was missing, and they got that element back. And hopefully, I'm not the only one that noticed. Hopefully, Sean McVay was like, "Oh yeah, I did do that," but sometimes I just don't. I wondered with that guy.
They used to be really good at attacking the middle of the field when Brandon Cooks was on the team. I remember they had Cooper Kupp and Woods and Cooks, and they were just when the McVay offense first took over there, and they were just putting up like 40 points a game. Yeah, that was part of it. Was they were able to attack chunks of attacking chunks down the middle of the field. And the last like couple of years, it seems like it's been a lot more like nickel and diming of people,
yeah,
rather than just like big breakaway plays.
A lot of fancy sweeps and stuff. So next up, we got Philadelphia Eagles versus Seattle Seahawks. Philadelphia -2.
That's interesting.
Over unders 45, -135
It's only
is the money line.
if it's only -2, they Vegas must be thinking that Jalen's not going to play.
What was it earlier in the week? Do you know?
I don't know, but for it to only be -2 right now, like that makes me think that he's probably not going to play.
Is Seattle going to start Geno that day?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't care. I have decided. Geno played great against the Cowboys. That's, to me, he's played awful this season.
So who did they start last week?
Locke. They started Drew Lock, and I thought Drew Lock was fine.
He did fine. But against the Eagles,
Eagles they're missing. They have not been good against the pass all year.
They haven't been scoring much lately either.
They're Mariota.
Oh God, Mariota. Huh? Yeah. Ooh, that makes things really interesting. This is a tough.
I kind of want to pick Seahawks right now.
Right?
You know what, dude? You'd almost rather just play Mariota than.
No.
I think I would.
I would not.
I would. So if we knew right now that Marcus Mariota was going to play for the Eagles, I would rather start him than guys like Joe Flacco.
He's still got weapons.
The Eagles are loaded with weapons, and the thing is he's gonna get a tush push. He's gonna get a brotherly shove touchdown, and Mariota was one of those quarterbacks that didn't have to play well to produce at a base level, fantasy wise. So if you put him into and he wasn't a quarterback that made a bunch of terrible decisions. He's just really not that talented. So, but he can run. And so you put him in a situation where he can do RPOs and stuff like that with guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert and hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift. Like, he can actually, I would have more confidence in him scoring 25 points than I would any of those other guys. 15, the other guys. But 25, if I needed 25, I would rather play Mariota.
Yeah, maybe just because of the weather and Flacco, but yeah. It's an interesting case, but I still would not be looking to start Mariota, man. That guy
I had picked him
me.
up a while ago in the Iron Throne. I dropped him again, but I'd picked him up just in case. Like, if Jalen Hurts got hurt, this guy is immediately like a top 12, 15 quarterback.
All right. I'm going to take Seattle.
I think so.
Me too.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah. Remember? So it's funny too. Like, I feels bad a little bit now because Jalen Hurts might miss the game to call it. But I remember earlier I had said the Eagles are going to lose 3 straight games. This would be the 3rd straight game now, and I had expected them to start that with the Bills game. I expect them to lose to the Bills, the Niners, and the Cowboys. But they could definitely lose to the Seahawks team in Seattle.
Yeah, I think the question at quarterback is going to be a big deal, and even if Hurts does play, he's going to be playing sick, which
and their team's tired right now, dude. They've been getting beat up.
They have.
They've played those they just played Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas at a disadvantage in every game based on rest alone. So they're the Eagles are a very tired team. So to have to still be traveling and go up into the Northwest and your quarterback's sick, that's rough.
Next up, we got the Saints versus Rams. We're into Thursday night. Saints are at +4. The over-under is at 44.5. Money line's at +164 and -198 if you're betting on the Rams.
Go Rams.
Yeah. Well, let's go Rams.
Playoffs on the line. Rams need to win 3 to have an 85% chance to get in.
All right.
And then if they win 4, they got a 99% chance to get in.
And this is going to be an interesting game here because New Orleans, I think they're going to win this week, and they're going to be fighting to win their division as well. So it's going to be real super important to both teams. Should be fun.
The Rams are a better team, though.
I agree.
And I think I need the Eagles and the Seahawks I need the Eagles to
don't need
lose.
anything from
I need the
Seahawks.
Cowboys to lose, and I need like a lot of these top players to lose, so San Francisco doesn't feel like they need to play their last game. And if we win that one,
you guys are going to win that game.
What, against the Niners?
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I said it. I was yesterday. I was in Solvang, and I was passerbys, and you're like, "Go Rams," and I'm like, "Yeah." And then a 49er thing came up, and I was just like, "Oh, I think we're gonna win that one." And it was like, "Yeah, all right." And then he kept walking. I was like, dang! I wish I took a picture with those two old guys and said that to me.
No, they played them tough early in the year, and that was when the Rams weren't at their best.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that game. I am. It's going to be a good one.
And now the Saturday games, which we'll briefly touch.
Boy. All right.
Bengals and Steelers.
Another Saturday game for your Steelers.
Yay.
So we can. This is great. This is going to be 3 straight weeks where we get to sit down like right after the Steelers game.
Oh, man. That's all right. My heart's already been ripped out. There's nothing more that can happen.
I'm going to pick the Bengals.
Yeah.
I like what's going on in Cincinnati. They're excited. They love Jake Browning. Like, if you watched that game yesterday, like his ability to just like stay level, and lead the team back, while on the other side, Mullins just fell apart.
Chase separated shoulder. How long are they usually out for separated shoulder? I want to say like 3 weeks.
He might play.
No.
Did he miss the rest of the game?
Yeah.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Higgins. So.
Yeah.
And Higgins gave me 22 points on the bench.
Chase managers. I actually didn't see. Like, I was really busy yesterday, so I didn't get to see what had happened to him. I just knew that Higgins had an awesome second half.
For next week, should we start Jake Browning or Matt Stafford?
Oh man,
who does
Matt Stafford?
Who does Stafford have next
and the
week?
only thing that gives me pause on that one is that they're on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a Thursday game, so it's a short week. So if anything happens, today where the guys are banged up and stuff like that, like in these Thursday games, they typically don't produce 60-point performances.
That's true.
So,
but I think I'd still start Stafford.
I would start Stafford though.
Yeah. Last game, Bills Chargers.
Unless he gets hurt.
Bills Chargers. That dude plays.
Gee, I don't know.
Yeah. Bills.
Man, you know what? This would be an awesome game to go to because I'm sure it's going to be super cheap.
That's true.
And to get to see Josh Allen in person.
See how cheap they are, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually.
That's a Saturday game.
And I'll be down there actually because I work. And so that's interesting. I might look at that.
Cool.
So any final words, guys, before we get out of here?
Is it 10? How close are we? 15 minutes? All right, cool.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
We didn't have any other questions?
No, that was the last one.
Right. Is Juan out there, by the way?
I didn't see him today.
No, Juan.
Is he crying in his cereal? No.
I just wanted to know if Juan was like making fun of me and just wanted to, dunk on me. Like, I can beat you.
No, dude, he had Zamir White on his bench. He had Zamir White on his bench. He meant to make the play. Like, he did all the right things except for be active, at
One
some
more
point.
question. What's up? After this week, Eagles or Denver defense?
With Darius Slay being down, I don't want any part of the Eagles defense right now. And I actually have the Denver defense sitting on my bench with the expectation that I was going to start playing them next week. So,
yeah, I haven't looked at the matchups that far ahead, but I would in general agree with Ken here.
And that's swapping off of Miami. My plan was to swap off of Miami and start playing Denver next week. For anybody who's not familiar, Denver next week plays New England at home. And then the week after that, they get the Chargers at home.
Oh, yeah, I love Denver.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So anybody who's still listening, pray for me. I'm down 80 points today. My opponent had the Raiders defense and Amon St. Brown, but we've got CeeDee Lamb and Kyron Williams and Bijan Robinson. Let's do this.
Come on, Christian McCaffrey.
Let's do this.
All right.
Thanks
Sorry.
for being with us, guys.
On the way out. Okay, just as we're going, guys. These are the crappy receivers we're rooting for today: Demario Douglas, Demarcus Robinson, and Josh Downs already played. Ugh. Playoffs.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
suck so bad.
I saw that you started Downs, and I was like, oh, poor guy.
All right, get us out of here. Enjoy some football, people.
Man, I'm just messing this button up right now.
I feel like I should win still because like my team is just set up this time. You know, like I feel like
That means you're gonna lose.
This is no. Well, sure, as far as the fantasy gods are concerned, but like this is the first year in the years we've been playing together where I feel like my team is just like priming as the playoffs come along, and is just not only that, but is set up for playoff matchups. Like my bench is set up for